What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Well, story came across one of my news feeds. Y'all should download y'all a couple of them apps so y'all can get these news feeds. But anyway, there's a woman who says she does not take advice from successful men. And she explains in detail why. So we're going to get into it. And then we're going to just pretty much break down the obvious, because this is almost, my God, this is just like simple. This is real simple to break down. So this is from distractify.com, and it says, quote, "I don't take advice from successful men," end quote. Woman says men are able to work because of women. My God, when you hear that, you're like, what is she trying to say? We work because women let us work, or what are they trying to say? But anyway, what's she trying to say? But let's get into it. A TikToker named Paige, hashtag is @SheIsAPaige Turner, says that she doesn't listen to advice from successful men on how they were able to make it, as they have the luxury to make certain sacrifices and hard choices in their lives because they are the primary caregiver, because they aren't the primary caregiver to children. Now, why is that? Is it because that the man is supposed to be the primary caregiver in a house? First of all, in a house, in a home, is supposed to be a husband, wife, and children. That's how it's supposed to be. Anything outside of that, you're bound for problems. You're bound for unfair treatment or whatever. But when you're in a marriage and you're in a family, it's not that it's unfair. It's that, bottom line, here's the thing. Men and women have roles. You got these people nowadays who are trying to blur the roles between men and women. Things that have worked successfully for families for thousands and thousands of years that we know of written history. And you got people who's trying to change that because they're not happy or don't like being, as they feel, subservient or slaves or second in command to the man of the house. So this creates problems. They want the man to be in their feelings, being feminine, understand, sympathize, not empathize. They want us to sympathize with the woman's struggles. But we do not ask a woman to sympathize or empathize with our struggle. We take it on head first. We know our responsibilities and we're going to do it. It's not like we would love to sit around and do nothing all day, fish, and just relax, enjoy the scenery, and do nothing all day, and things are being done for us. That would be great. But it goes back to the old saying, the grass is greener on the other side. You got women who want to be in the men's shoes. You got men who want to be in the women. I don't know why men want to be in women's shoes, but you got them kind of dudes. But anyway, let's continue. She went on to say that women suffer from a double standard if they decide to have a child and decide not to be the primary caregiver of that child and elect instead to pursue a career after following through with their pregnancy. But women do it all the time. I work in the medical field. I work in the hospital, taking care of patients. I don't work in a hospital, but I work in the field of taking care of patients. In the field that I work in, whether it's, I've worked in a hospital, I've worked in clinics, I've worked in nursing homes. In all these fields, the majority of the people that are there are women. That's why I tell guys all the time, if you want to meet women, if you are a heterosexual male, one of the best places where there's an abundance. Now, I would not encourage you to, what they say, eat where you crap. I wouldn't encourage that. But I mean, if you single out there just trying to mingle, but because, man, drama, boy, you just don't know. It's like a high school, man. It's like a high school, these places. That's why I wouldn't encourage it. But what I'm saying is it might be times when you can work in, might float to a different building or clinic or something and meet somebody and y'all can go kick it. But as for like working together and being in a relationship, I wouldn't I wouldn't like, ooh, Lord, I wouldn't advise it. But if you are a heterosexual single male, there are plenty to choose from in those fields. My point is, there are a lot of women in those fields, a lot of men, a lot of them have children, a lot of them have kids. So they do it anyway. So I guess every last woman that works in a hospital, nursing home, or some kind of medical clinic, I guess you're saying that they're bad parents. Please. Paige begins her video by stating that she does not tend to take advice from men who are successful, whether it is in self-help books, on podcasts, or the fact that they have a Y chromosome in general. I tend to take their advice with a grain of salt because I do not think it's applicable to women and mothers in particular. No, it probably isn't. It shouldn't be. You know why? Because he's a man and you're a woman. Point blank. I could probably end the video right there. But I won't, because we're going to get more into it. But that's it. Women have children, men don't. When you have kids, your primary job is to be a mother and a caregiver. That's why you carry the baby. That's why you have the breast for the baby to what they say, is it say supple? To sup along in order to grow, for food, for nourishment. Men don't have that. I'm sorry, don't blame us, blame the Most High. You better not blame him, but understand the Most High. That's how it was created. You were, ma'am, created as a woman. I was created as a man. So that's two different distinctions. There's only two genders ever created, man and woman. Anything else, you need to go get some psychological help. That's all. So no, so I wouldn't expect you to take advice from a man because you can't do what a man do. Just like we shouldn't take certain advice from you because you are a woman. We can't give you certain advice because of you being a woman. It may not work. Like I say, it may not work for you. Say for instance, I don't know, let's say we out here chopping wood. I can say, hey, the way I chop wood, I could probably split a log in a couple of hits. You probably don't have the power to swing the axe like I do, so I wouldn't tell you how to swing an axe. You know what I tell you to do? Go get your husband to do it. Or I tell you get a saw. A saw would probably be better. I mean, it take longer and it'd be more work, but if you use it right, it won't be as hard. It's just if you let the tool do the work, you know. But other than that, you can't do, you can't do what we do. Okay, let's continue. Then she went on to discuss how she was listening to Casey Neistat's podcast with Steve Bartlett, and have Neistat, who managed to become a leading social media influencer through perseverance, consistency, and persistence, moving from New York to Connecticut and doing all of the difficult, hard things like sharing living spaces with 10 people, crashing on couches and grinding it out despite having a kid with someone at 15 years of age. While she said it was inspiring, she ultimately couldn't identify with his message. Now, actually, you could, because you could get you some roommates, some female roommates, and share couches and crash on couches with people while trying to come up. It'd be easier without a child, but you can do it with kids, because maybe you have a roommate with kids. But when you get kids and mixing and people raise, the people got different personalities, and then bringing in children that can cause even more issues. So I wouldn't advise it, but it can be done. It could be done. The whole time I'm listening to it thinking, where's your kid? Now, I say the dude say he had a baby at 15, broke up with the girlfriend like at 17 and moved from Connecticut to New York. So like 17, 18, I guess he's still pretty young. So he didn't have the baby with him, right? So the mother had the child with him. I would like to know what the mother is doing at this point in her life and how she fared, and who helped her and supported her and everything. I would love to hear that part of the story. That's what you should be saying. None of these things are possible with a 2-year-old baby. You can't sleep on somebody else's couch with a 2-year-old baby. Yeah, yes, you can. You can't stay out till 4 a.m. with your 2-year-old baby. Well, no, you can't unless you have some help, like somebody in your family or somebody watching your kid while you out working. Cause I've seen that happen. You can't live, or you can't, like say the kids stay, the baby dad stay with the grandmother while you at work. It happens. So you can't live in a halfway house like that. Well, who the hell wants to live in a halfway house? Why do women want to live in a halfway house? So no, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't take that advice if I was you. She continued, like, you don't do that with a 2-year-old. And he's talking about how he doesn't have money for a tax or anything like that. And the whole time I'm thinking, where's this kid? This kid is probably with his mom. Probably is. Natural order things. This kid, and with this country, like I said in other videos, shoot, they'll make sure the mother has a kid anyway, no matter what the father situation is, unless the mother just gives up custody. The kid is with his mom probably 90% of the time. She's probably doing 90% of the work, paying for 90% of the things, and raising him essentially on their own, on her own. That's kind of, oh man, you got a boy, and he moved. That's kind of hard. Paige doesn't think that this information detracts from Neistat's relationship with his son, or is bringing this up as a way of mitigating his role in raising his child. That he didn't participate financially or at all, because I don't know how he doesn't talk about it, and that is why I can't take his advice. I want to know what happened there. The TikTok then said that this kind of information was relayed by a woman who gave birth to a child and that then subsequently raised. She would be more receptive to listening. If it were a mother telling the story, you would know what she did for childcare. Well, she had no stroll, I guess. I don't know. How she paid for everything for that child, where they live, who supported her, what her village like, what was her village like. Like, these things could got food stamps, government aid, WIC, housing, daycare paid for. All that could have been done if she went through the right channels and did what she's supposed to. So she could have had a village helping her raise this child while she pursues her career, which is what the goal should be anyway. That's what that system should have been created for. So just for mothers who out there on their own and need all the help they can, but not abusing the system. Using the system, but not abusing the system. So she went on. Because those things were critical to her success if she had success, but for him, it wasn't critical because he had her. Oh, he had the mother, so he had the baby's mama taking the child. Paige then went on to say that men who have children are able to pursue their own personal dreams without worrying about the responsibility of raising those children because men have women. What? That is the biggest lesson that I've learned. And that could be her story. That could be the example she's seeing, that guys who have kids don't have to raise them. They can go and pursue their career, which they're supposed to do in the first place. I mean, bottom line is, like I said, the perfect situation is two people get together and get to know each other, they get married, live together for a few years, then have kids. That's the perfect situation. Anything outside of that, you're gonna have a lot of problems. You're gonna have a lot of problems, but it's not nothing that you can't deal with. They say when they tell us any kind of advice of how they became successful, it's because they had women supporting them. The problem is, it's not necessarily supporting them. It's like the women, are you saying they supported the man, or are you saying that they have the kids and so the man can do what he want to? And the man ain't got to raise the kids. The woman raised the kids. She's a single mother. Is that what you're talking about? Or are we talking about husband and wives who the wife is watching the kid while the man pursues his career? I'm confused. That is, the woman, if she is his baby mama, wanted to do the same thing. Now, see, you talking about baby mama, so you kind of talking about putting together two things that don't match. His baby mama wanted to do the same thing that Casey did. Would that have been possible? Because she had left her kid with him for 90% of the time and participated slightly and maybe monetarily, but mostly was off sleeping on couches in New York. She said, highlighting that what she thought was a double standard in his story. And she keeps talking about the double standard, talking about the mom probably wouldn't be able to do what he did. He was able to do it because the mom kept the child, etc., etc. Shoot, it's a little more reading. I don't feel like reading all that, so I'll put the link in the description box. But the bottom line is, men and women, we're different. Created differently, created differently, got different roles, different responsibilities based on gender. not responsibility, like different parts of responsibilities. Because when you have a child, the responsibility is for the mother and the father. But what they do in that responsibility is different for the most part. It's for the same as raising, but it's different in what they do to raise the child. Like they say, the woman is a nurturer and the man is supposed to be like, mainly the provider or the disciplinarian and the head and this, that, and the third. It's different parts of the responsibility. When you're not together and you take the child, then you take on the majority of responsibility that truthfully you weren't supposed to do in the first place, but you got it. But one thing that is supposed to be across the line, across the board, no matter if the mother has a child, the father has a child, or they both have them, it takes a village to raise a child. And if you don't have a village, it don't matter if you're a man or a woman, it's going to be hard for you if you don't utilize the village. Just say that. If you don't utilize the village correctly, or you don't have a village, it's going to be tough on either side of the spectrum. So I don't know, maybe she's going through saying it for personal issues. Maybe it's something about her life that she's not telling or it needs to be kind of explained more other than this here. But hey, bottom line, men, women, two different people. Responsibilities are different. That being said, tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And like I say, comment below. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.